Hey guys, Ross here, and welcome to Consolidated. We're happy to have you as a user. Thank you for being here. And really, what we're going to do in this video is give you a high level overview as to how the software works, what you should start with, and how to keep up to date with what we're doing. Because since we're new software, we're constantly releasing new things. So by the end of this video, I want you to know how to build a dashboard, get it live, and if you're a Go High level user, put it in your account. Sorry that this microphone is blurred a little bit here, but we're just going to work with what we got because this video is long overdue. In fact, this old one that you're looking at right here was done when we first got started. And so like the UI, most of it doesn't even look the same anyways. But what you will notice is anytime there's a new update, it's going to pop up right here. So make sure you're keeping an eye on this board every time you log in. Just click down here and it'll show you whatever the latest video that we just put out was, because we're constantly putting out new features. Let's go ahead and walk through it. A few things you're not going to see: onboard or support, because these are two tabs that only show up on employees of Consolidata on our accounts. So don't freak out if you don't see those. First thing that I want you to go ahead and do if you're just getting started is click on sources. This is where you want to go ahead and add your data sources, because they're going to start syncing while we're going through the rest of this video. Now, I will say this for Facebook: you need to be invited to use the API. Otherwise, you're going to get something that says basically this app is not active. And that's not true. It's just because we're still in beta. So what you do is go to your Facebook page and give us the URL to your profile, like your home Facebook page, like your profile, not your business, your personal profile. And then you're going to go in here in the chat and just say, "Hey, Sherry," or whoever, "here is my Facebook profile. I need an invite." You're going to go ahead and put that in there, and they're going to give you the invite right away. Once you do that, you're going to go to developer.facebook.com. And if you don't already have a developer account, it takes about 2 seconds to create one. And what you're going to do is over here, you'll see pending app request. You're going to click on that, and then you're going to accept the new app. Bada bing, bada boom. And then you'll be good to start using Consolidata. Then you can go ahead and add your Facebook data source as a source. That's the only one you need to do that for. Now, I'll just say a few things. For Google Analytics, you need to be using the Google Analytics 4. You cannot be using the old one. They've phased that out, so we don't even support it either anymore. For Go High Level, you have over here agency and location level. Make sure you choose the correct one. So if you're choosing the agency level, here's what you need to do. You can't leave out any of these. The label, you can name it whatever you want. That's just what you want it named in our system. Here's where you're going to find your relationship ID. If you go into your settings and you go up here into company settings, you're going to grab a relationship ID up here. Then for your API keys, if you're using the agency level, you're going to click on this here, click API keys, and you're going to snag an API key from up here, or you can just create one. If you are not on an agency level, then here's what you need to do. You got to go into a location level, and under here, you got a location ID and an API key right here. Those are what you're going to use to pre-fill in these. Keep in mind, if you're wanting to use our automation, our agency level automation, you are going to need to have an agency API key. You have to have that to use the automation. And I'll go through that in just a little bit. So once you have those and you press sync, here's something to note. It's going to take about an hour for all your data sources to sync, but not from the get-go. So it's going to take about 5-10 minutes of fetching if you have a lot of accounts. And then what you're going to do is you click on edit, and whatever accounts that you want to bring in, you're going to type in something, and you'll click the little select button. I'll give you an example. So I just added a new location to this account. I'm going to click sync sources. And now if I go in here, you can see it's fetching the accounts in the background. I have to wait until that is done fetching before, and there, now it's done fetching. Now I can go in here and type in this, and boom. Now when I select it and I hit update, It takes about 30 to 45 minutes or even up to an hour for that to all sync up for the first time. Then you'll be good. It'll be all set. So that's how you set all these up. The rest of them are all single click. You just literally, if you're wanting to add an account, you click on this, you choose which Google account, and boom, it pulls it in, bada bing, bada boom, and it syncs it. And then all you have to do is click this edit button and just get in the habit of making sure that you're pulling those in. That is important because when you get into the dashboards, if you have not selected an account, there will be nothing in your dropdown. You'll see the source, but there won't be anything there. Okay, so now we know how to use sources. Now let's go over and take a look at creating a dashboard. We're going to start by creating one from blank. So I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to put my demo dashboard. And if I'm wanting to put a folder, I can. I'm going to go ahead and create. And we will take, we'll just choose this. And I'm going to hit edit dashboard. When I first get here, everything is blank. So what I got to do is figure out what I want my structure to be. So I'm just going to do a fairly standard one. We'll go like this, and like this. And now I'm going to go over here and I got my chart types. It's important to know to add a chart type. You'll see it says grab a chart or a widget. You have to add a chart or a widget. And the reason for that is some people will do this. I'll just give you an example. They will, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing here in just a second, but just to give you an example, let's say they're wanting to see how many leads. So they take this and they drag leads here and they go, hey, it's not working. And they just keep dragging it and dragging it and dragging it and dragging it. But they don't have a chart type, so you can't see it. So you got to make sure you add a chart type. So watch what happens. The second I add a chart type like this, now I can go over here and add my leads and boom, it pulls up my leads. So you got to have a way to visualize it in order for that to pull up. These are just sections creating space. That's all that is. So now let's talk about how to create attributes. That's what we call these little things that you drag into a box. The way that you create an attribute is simple. You have either a count of opportunities, count of contacts, sum of opportunity values, count of appointments, or custom fields. We have the most detailed reporting that you can get for a reporting API from Go High Level from other companies. I just saw that Agency Analytics just launched an API integration. They do not have all of this stuff the same way we do. So the difference between appointments or opportunities and contacts can confuse people, but think of it this way. Contacts is your smart contacts list, but that contact could live in two different pipelines. So there could be two opportunities for that one contact. So they will not always sync up. If you look and say, I have 500 contacts, but I have 550 opportunities, that's very possible because you could have multiple opportunities on the same contact. Let's go through these each one by one. So when you look at count of opportunities, now we got to figure out what are we wanting to display, the filters. So you could do total, open, won, lost, or abandoned. So if I'm wanting to see how many deals I closed, I'll go opportunities that have been won. Now, I do not recommend in any way, shape, or form trying to pull data from a pipeline stage if you can avoid it. We have it there just to have it there because I'm sure there's a use case for it. Problem is that it's not going to be historically accurate. So the second you move it out of there, it's not like when you go to the date range, Go High Level says this used to be here, so it's going to send us that time frame. So if you're wanting to drag things and see stuff through the pipeline stage, then what you're going to want to do is set it up in your Go High Level that when they hit that pipeline stage, a tag is added. And when that tag is added, we will base it off the tag, not the pipeline stage. And here's why. Let's say you are wanting to see how many deals, and I'm going to pull up my whiteboard here. Let's say that you are wanting to see how many deals went from this pipeline. Ugh, that's a really bad squiggly line. I'm going to use shapes so that way it's easier. Let's say you got two pipeline stage, contact, attempt, and contact made. And let's say that you're wanting to figure out how many deals, what percentage of leads that hit this pipeline moved on to this pipeline. And let's just say that in total, you've had 20 deals hit this pipeline, and out of that, 8 have moved over to this pipeline. If you were to do it based off pipeline stage, when you move that over to here, this number actually drops down to 19, the way that the API sends the data. So then if we're trying to get a conversion rate, it's going to say 9 out of 19 instead of 8 out of 20. And we don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to use tags. So that way we can say how many have the contact attempt tag. Okay, 20. How many have the contact made tag? Oh, it's 8. And then we can just do a simple calculation and say contact made divided by contact attempt multiplied by 100. And now we have a conversion rate of how many came over. So hopefully that makes sense, and I'll go deeper into that and actually show you an example of that here in just a second. So long story short, you can filter things by pipeline, but I would not recommend doing it by pipeline stage. And then secondly, you have or third, you have sources. I recommend using sources instead of tags for sources, because sometimes I'll see people do like, okay, if a Facebook lead, if it came in through Facebook, I'm going to tag it Facebook. What would be better is say, if it has the tag Facebook, change the opportunity source to Facebook. And the reason for that is now you have more ways to divide things, because now you can say, I want to see all the leads that are on Facebook that have this tag. You start limiting yourself otherwise if you do it the other way. Now, when you do tags, I will say this. I'm just going to add random tags. Now you have this filter, and you have 3 different ones: created at, updated at, and when added. And I know there's a lot of information being thrown at you one by one here. So hopefully we can, hopefully this will all retain. If not, you'll play with it. Created at is when the actual opportunity or contact was created. Updated at is the worst one to use, in my opinion, because somebody could go in and make a note, and now it's going to change the date when this lead pops up. And then when added is the coolest one we have. And the way that that works is every hour we're checking for new data. And if we check and we say, oh, this lead has this new tag, we timestamp it. That's something Go High Level doesn't do. Now we can get a proper attribution, and I'll give you an example why. Let's say that you want to know, okay, this lead came in on the 3rd, and something happened. A proposal went out on the 15th. Well, if you just have it tagged proposal sent, it's not going to, you don't know when the proposal was sent. If you want to know how many proposals were sent this week, you have no way of knowing. But if you use when added and that tag was applied during that time frame, then it would pop in right there, and now you have proper attribution. When you add multiple tags, you have a new option. You have this and or operator. So you're basically saying it needs to match this tag and this tag, or it can match this tag or this tag. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to make another video just on how tags work, and I'll upload it just so that way you guys have that information and how all of that works. But that's opportunities. Contacts works the same way. However, when you're doing contacts, you don't have pipeline stage and you do not have pipeline. It's tag sources status. So we don't need to go through that more. Sum of opportunity values, the actual lead value that you have in a deal when you update the lead value, that's what this is. So if you're wanting to, for instance, see how much was how many, what you did in revenue, you would change to 1 status. I'm going to put revenue. You would make it say 1, and then I'm just going to go ahead and add this in here. Let's add a chart type. And then we'll go over here and we add that in, and boom, now we have revenue. And I'll show you guys later how to add a symbol to that, so that way it looks like an actual dollar sign. If you were wanting to see like open values, so you can see like what's the pipeline values in there, you could do that, and you just change this to open. Now I'm going to put this here, open values. I'll drop this in, shows 318. So now you have that. You can see as you change these deals, you can see how that maneuvers around, and this changes that way. Okay, let's do another one. Count of appointments. For some reason, people don't like to mark deals as showed, but they like to try to see how many showed. If you select appointment status showed, but you're not marking them as showed in your system, it won't display any data. So make sure that you're using this cleanly. The input is clean as you're putting these things through. Otherwise, just leave it at all. You can separate it by calendar, you can separate it by tag, and you can separate it by source. So you can see how many appointments came into a certain calendar by a certain tag or a certain source. That's pretty straightforward, easy to understand. Custom fields. This is a newer one for us. This is only going to pull in numeric values. It's not going to pull in names. It's going to pull in a numeric value. So, for instance, let's say you were working with loan officers and you had the custom field credit score. You could add that in, and it's going to now you choose an operator, and you could say, I want to average of values, and it's going to give you what your average lead credit score has been. So you could see that coming in. Let's say that in there you have sales. Every time a sales comes through, maybe it's pushing into a custom field. You could do a sum of values, or you could do a count of values. The difference of that is going to be how many deals actually had that value in there. Then you can once again sort this by status, tag, and source. So I'll give you an example. We have a customer that does loyalty rewards. They wanted to see how many rewards points were in there. They have all those in there. So we were able to show here's how many rewards are current rewards that they have. Here's how many rewards points have been spent, etc. And we could pull that all in through custom fields. Okay, so once you have all of that, now you got your data. The next thing you need to know is how to use the custom calculator. So I'm going to create one more thing here. I want to see how many actual deals were won. And I'm just going to hit create, and let's drag in another chart type. I'll just do 2 here so that way we have it. And so now we can see here's how many deals were won. Now let's say I want to see what my average sale per customer was. That's just dividing revenue by deals won. You see up here, you have this button that says custom. If I click on that and I click create a custom source, this calculator pops up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here. We're going to put deals won, and we're going to put revenue. And then I'm just going to go revenue divided by deals won, and we'll put average sale, hit create. And now this is going to pop up, and it's going to give me my average sale. So now let's go ahead and make these things look right. So if I click on a gear wheel on a column, you can see this box over here pops up, and you can change the background color of that. So like if I wanted to, I can add this, and then I could change the color of my text. Let's say we want to put a little border radius on it like that. And this is all looking nice and good. But then I want to change my options here. I can change my number font size. I can change the heading font size. If I want to do a conditional background, which I don't because I put a background color, but if I did, what I'd simply be saying is that, for instance, if it is less than 500, I want the background color to be red. It's going to turn that red. This is good for people who want to be able to look at a chart and have colors telling them, what their numbers are. So it's very easy to use just like on a spreadsheet. Now we've got our unit symbol and decimal. So I'm going to go ahead and put on my decimal. But if it is a whole number, it won't show. The decimal is only going to show if you've got like in 56 cents or something like that. Most people don't put those numbers like that inside of a lead value. So then I'm going to click show symbol, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to type the $sign. I know it's a little thrown off because it looks like there's a $sign in there. We should make that faded a little bit more. And then I'm going to put this like that. So now it's at the start of it. So now you can see I have that. Now I'm going to go over to this box, and you notice how, and actually I think I put the wrong box in there, the wrong thing. Let's see, average sale. Oh, no, I didn't. I only have one deal in here, so that's why it did it that way. Now, over here, you notice how this says revenue with a lowercase r. Let's say I want to change that name. What I'm going to do is go over here into mappings, and I can click on this and I can reword. I could make it say whatever I want. I could make it say revenue poop, and it's still there. This doesn't change it at all. If I wanted to delete this from the dashboard altogether, I go under mappings and I would just click delete, and that would remove that from my dashboard. So now what I'm going to do is go over here and I'm going to do the decimal, and I'm going to put this on like this. So now we have my revenue number. And then under the open values, which is down here, the way I change that one is I click on mappings, because the top one is your main mapping. This lower one is not. So I'm going to click on this. I'll do the same thing over here. I'm going to add this. Now, one thing I like to do is on these sub attributes where they're in the same box is I like to personally change the background color of those. So I'm going to change this like this. And now you can see my open values changed a little bit. Now I want to show you something. You see how it keeps reverting back the date when the thing refreshes? That can be annoying. So a little trick is you click on dashboard settings. And if this is what I want for my dates, I go over here under actions. And if I click save current date filters, what's going to happen is that I can refresh this every single time and it's going to pop back to this. It's not going to keep changing it on me. So now we have this. I'm going to go ahead and shorten this so that way we're all set. Okay, great. So now once I have these things set up, I'm going to remove this title because I don't need this title. And let's just take a minute to go through the dashboard settings. If you do not have data in your account yet, but you're wanting to see what it would look like with data as you're building it, all you do is go under edit mode and you just click on that, and it's just going to throw fake random numbers in the charts for you. So that way you can see that. Whatever your time zone is, make sure that you've saved that, and you don't want to do it the time zone you're in. You want to make it the time zone that your Go High Level account is in. So like this here should be in Eastern, even though I'm in Central. So I am going to put it in Eastern time, and then I'm going to go back here and hit save current data filter. So that way we have that. If you have a header color that is dark up here, so like let's say that you do this blue as your header color, these date range kind of get lost in there. So you can go over here and change your color. So I'm going to put these as white like this. And now you can see these a bit better. Now, if I want to add a logo in this upper hand corner, which to be honest with you, you don't really need a logo in most cases. And I only say that because if you're putting it inside your dashboard already has a logo. So you really shouldn't need it in that event. So let's just say, though, that we're going to put this as our logo. I'll put that like that. I click show logo, and now that's going to pop in like this. I would probably not put a black logo over that blue because it doesn't really pop, but this is just a little demo, so you get the idea. Boom. So now we have this. Um, you can add a background image, or you can change the color right here. So we can put this as white if we want, or we can make it black, whatever. If you want to upload a background image, that's perfectly fine too. Something like that. I personally think that looks like crap right now, so I'm going to remove that. Your thumbnail, if you take a snapshot, your thumbnail is what it's going to look like out here. So like you can now see this dashboard right here. Like you see how this one, for some reason, the thumbnail file got lost. If I click on that and I go in here and I save or I go to the thumbnail and I hit take snapshot, and then I go back, you'll see that that thumbnail is now in there. So that's what the thumbnail does for you. And then the last thing I want to show you, you can hide a date range. And what that would do is that, like, let's say you have a report that you want to email your customer this link. Say you want to email them this link every 7 days and say, hey, here's your 7-day report. You would absolutely be able to do that. And then what'll happen is they won't be able to change the date range if you've hidden this date range here. If you ever want to just send them the report, you can click download dashboard. And what it does, you can see it just downloaded this as a PDF. And now if I open this up over here, I'll move it into view for you in just a second. Uh, open with Chrome. Here we go. You can see it downloaded it as a PDF for us, so that way you could send that to your customer as well. Okay, I want to go through a couple different chart types as well. You do have these. I never use these, to be honest, because you can also do them just by clicking over here, but you can drag in sections and columns like this if you wanted. You've got all these different types of charts. You have line charts, bar charts, area charts, pie charts, funnel charts, number charts, comparison charts, table, list, donut, radar, scatter, bubble. Um, the most of them are pretty much straightforward. I just want to go through a few things. The number charts, you can add up to 3 different attributes in one chart. So, like for instance, I could add in here. I already have open values. I could add deals 1, and we'll just put this in here. So you can add up to. Technically, it's 4 in one box. With a comparison chart, it's different because a comparison chart, you just have one field value, and then this is comparing it to the date range before. So, like if I do the last 30 days, it's saying, okay, 146 leads came in the last 30 days. That's a 12% increase from the 30 days previous to that by 16 leads. So I have 16 leads more than I did before. So what it's doing is it's taking the date range up here and it's just saying, okay, here's the range now. What was it, to that previous period? What's the difference? And that's how it displays that right there. The table chart is an interesting one because it's not as customizable, but it shows you a frequency of times. So like if I drop leads and I click on this little thing here, I can put I don't want to add that. Let's see. Oh, I can display the date, and now it shows like the count, the date that they came in. So it is affected by this interval here. So like if I do a monthly interval, it's showing me at, this month here, this month here. If I do it in weekly interval, it's showing me how many leads came in that week, in that period of time. But a list chart is different than a table chart, and it can be confusing, but I'll show you why. On a list chart, what you're going to do is set some preset stuff. So I drop this in, I go on column settings, and I click on structure. And over here, I could do things like this. I could put source, and then I could put leads, appointments, 1, and then let's just put conversion rate. This would be the same way that you would make like a leaderboard. Then over here under row, maybe I put Facebook, and we'll just say website. So now I have this, and I'm going to go up here and shorten this because I don't actually need it to be this big or this long. And then I can also choose, if I want in my options, I could do rows. So that way it separates like this. You could do columns, or you could do it as a grid like this. Just for the sake, so you know where we're dropping it, I'm going to put it as a grid, and then I'll remove it here in just a little bit. So if I'm wanting to start filling these in, I could go in and I could put leads, Facebook. Let's go ahead and type in count of opportunities total from Facebook ads. So I'll go like this, hit create. And now if I drag this in here, you can see I put it in this box, and now it puts them in here. If I go leads, we'll just do chat widget. Leads chat widget, because I know that would have come from the website. Chat widget. Go like this and put that in, and then it shows you the stats here. Now, I want to show you how you could get a conversion rate while we're in here, just to show you how that works with the calculator. So to do that, first I'm going to go 1 Facebook. I don't know why I did all capitals, but for the sake of time, I'm going to keep it. And we're doing count of opportunities 1 on Facebook. So I'll put that here, and let's do all, just that way we get a number, because these people are sometimes terrible about marking stuff. Chat, we'll just do, and I'm not running their ads. I should just say and we're going to do one chat widget. Okay, so then we know that this came from the website. So let's say we're wanting to get a conversion rate on these. I go to the custom calculator. I'm going to click on this, and you'll notice the custom calculator does not have a decimal. That's because of the way that we have things structured. It works better for us this way. So I'm going to put one Facebook, and I will put leads Facebook. We'll start off there. And I'm going to start off by doing brackets. So I'm going to go like this, and I'll put 1 divided by leads, brackets, multiplied by 100. This is going to give me my conversion rate, Facebook. Now what I can do is hit create. This pops in here. And now if I put this right there, it shows a 3. And then let's do one more for the website. So we're going to go leads chat widget. We'll go 1 chat widget, brackets, 1 divided by leads, multiply that by 100. That's going to give us our chat widget conversion rate. Click on that. And now this is here. So now what I'm going to do is click on this like that. Click on mappings. And I'm going to go symbol, turn it on, decimal, turn it on. And I'm going to put this percentage sign behind it. So you can see how I'm literally just going like this, decimal, this, percentage. So now you can see how these are in here. And if you want, you can sort these. If you have a big list of stuff, you can sort stuff that way. And that's how you put all that on. So once you have it in there, maybe you're like, okay, I don't like the grid box, but it was helpful for while I was building it. You can take that away, and now that's all structured this way for you. So that gives you a real good basics lowdown on how to build dashboards. I want to give you one more tip. Blended stats at the top, break it down below. So all my stuff up here, it's just going to be across the board account level stuff, and then break it down. Sometimes I'll literally just take the same exact stats that I've blended at the top and break it down by source down below, and then maybe have an area chart or something like that. I should throw in a area chart or even a bar chart. I'll do a bar chart for you just so I can show you one other thing here. So let's say that I'm putting in my leads. And you can see you have this little box that's got all the dates down here. But let's say that you don't want to have to hover to look and see the number. If I click on this and I click chart options, if I click show label, it pulls it up right here. So you can actually see the number right above it. Also, if I change my axis color here, you'll see that it's going to put in an axis. So that way you can actually see how that lays out. Intervals do not affect number charts at all. They only affect area charts and this table chart. And what it means is essentially if I put daily, it means every bar is going to represent a day. So it's going to take much longer for it to build because it's a lot of days over that course of that time. If I do weekly, every bar represents a week. If I do every monthly, every bar represents a month. So that's essentially what an interval is. If you want to share a dashboard, you go like this, you can hit copy and you can share it. Now I'm going to show you another thing that you can do. A lot of you are going to be using this on Go High Level. So what you're going to do is, let's say that demo dashboard that I just had, let's say that we are wanting to put in this right here. Let's go to dashboard. Let's say we want to replace this dashboard right here. It's called demo account. And let's put the one we just built. What we're going to do is click on Dash Hub, and there's a script. You're going to put this in the JavaScript section and the CSS section of your Go High Level account. You do not need to have SaaS mode for this part to work. You can do this regardless. Once you put this in, you're going to click Add Dashboard, and we are going to put this. I don't know if I brought in the demo account, so let's make sure that we have it in our sources over here. Nope, I don't have it in here. So I'm going to hit demo, update my sources. And now let's do it. We go here, there's demo account, and then it shows here's my available dashboards. Well, here's the one I just built. So I'm going to click that and I click save. You can see, and now it just built that dashboard for us right here. So now if I go back to our Go High Level account and I refresh this page, it is going to automatically put in this dashboard we just built in here for us. If I wanted to turn it off, all I have to do is do this, toggle it off, and now it's going to turn off. Here's the nice thing about this is, let's say that you have a client that has a multiple locations. You could put all locations on one dashboard in their account, but keep the other guys only seeing their data. So that's a nice thing about it. Now, here's the next thing that I want to show you. I have just recently created this account. And let's say that you want to set up a structure so that way every time a new sub account is created, it automatically uses the template you've made and places it into Go High Level for you. So literally your sign up, your dashboards, everything would be automated. The first step to that is you have to save it as a template. So I'm going to go back over here and take this dashboard that I just built. I'm going to click on this little gear wheel and click create template. We're going to call this demo template. Click on that. Now it's saved. Now, if we go over here to templates, you can see all these different templates you could use. And just to show you how this works, let's say I wanted to build another one like that. I could go in here, take another account. It's going to say, which one do you want to use? Let's just say that we use this, and I hit save. And now if I go to dashboard, it's going to automatically build a dashboard for me. So I have that. Okay, perfect. Bada bing, bada boom. But now I want to show you something. I have it set up on a different dashboard that if I want to create an automation, I have this marshland dashboard. And what it is basically when you create an automation, you're saying, hey, every time this webhook URL is called, I'm going to check and see if you have a new sublocation in your account. And if you do, I'm going to select it. I'm going to pull it in. I'm going to build a dashboard from this template, and I'm going to put it on the dashboard page and plug it in for you. So I'm going to click copy on this URL, and I actually have one that I recently put in, and you're going to see it. So if I go over here and I just copy that link and I put it in and I hit enter, you see it's going to call that webhook. And let's take a look and see what happens over here. I'm going to refresh this. And actually, I messed it up because I remember at the beginning of this demo, I manually did a sync to pull in that the Machinery Hunter account. I shouldn't have done that because that messed it up, because it's saying, well, wait a minute, you don't have any new ones, so nothing happened. But in the event that I wouldn't have, what you would have noticed is you would have automatically seen a Machinery Hunters one built, created with the dashboard that I had, and it would be toggled on and it would all already be replaced in there. So one way that you can trigger this URL is in a Go High Level automation. So I'm just going to show you real quick what that would look like over here. And you would put this after the sub account has been created. Maybe it's after a Stripe sales sub account's created. You might want to wait like 3 or 4 minutes. So that way you know it's for sure been created. And what you would do is you would create an action for a webhook, and it's going to be a get. And you just put this in here and you save the action. And now anytime that's triggered, it's going to check for a new account. And if there is one, it'll build you a dashboard. It'll replace it in there for you. Guys, that is a really quick in-depth tutorial on how Consolidata works. If you have any questions, feel free to ask us in our support chat. I know that this has been a long video, but I think that for those of you who are just getting started, it's going to be helpful. Thank you and have an awesome day.